it's like and you have to like get it approved for. It's very. Oh, and now we are live. Here we go. Pew, 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 pew. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I know that you are all super excited, and I know you know that I'm really excited because we have such an amazing person on the podcast today. Welcome to Slumber Party. Put your hands together. Please welcome to the stage. You know her as one of the most iconic Elphabas of all time, on tour, on Broadway, the upcoming Becoming Nancy. Her album is fucking everything. Chandelier, we're gonna get into all of it. You know her from Fiddler, you know her from Britney. Welcome to the stage, Jessica Vosk.
Hey guys, how you doing?
I'm gonna recreate my reaction video. That riff was wild, what you just did.
Oh, you gotta, what is it? What is tonight? So February, whatever night it is. What is it? Is it a Saturday?
It's February 3rd, Saturday. Yeah.
Yep, that's what it feels like. And on those kind of days, I say you go on a riff and a prayer, Tim. You really go on a riff and a prayer. What else are we gonna do?
That's all we can do is go on a riff and a prayer. Someone get that. That's the quarantine tattoo. We're going on a riff and
that's
a prayer.
A quarantat. A quarantat.
That's a quarantat. Have you always been a riffstress per se? Have you always had that?
I do. I've loved a riff because everybody who really has followed me for a long time knows that stories I will tell about my childhood are mostly sitting in my bedroom being like, 'cause I'm your lady and you are my man, and just doing those riffs. I'll do all that I can. You just keep it clean, Celine.
Do you mind if I pass out?
If you must, I will get the smelling salts and we're gonna bring you back.
Wake me up.
Yeah,
wait.
I was Celine Dion super fan.
I love that you said that because on Canada's Drag Race this past week, they had one of the most epic lip syncs of all time to I Drove All Night. Such an amazing song. So that led a very gay conversation of what do you think the best Celine songs are?
Oh,
it's hard. It's really hard.
Here's the thing though. I'm going to tell you, I've seen Celine live in concert when I was a kid. She was like one of my first concerts that I saw. And then I was like, it's all downhill from here. I'm going to be in the business of show someday. Sorry about it.
Yeah.
But do you remember her song? I'll be waiting for you. Here inside my heart, I'm the one who wants to love you more. Oh, she just and that violinist, it's my fave. It's my fave. But I'm like a Celine junkie. So if Anna Villafania a couple months ago, I don't know, pre-quarantine, was like, will you come and sing Tell Him, the duet? And I was like, you don't even have to tell me that I already know what it is.
You told him, yeah.
Why would you do me like that? That's rude. I already know, and I know both harmony. I know both you guys.
Did you do both?
No, I did Celine.
Of course.
I did Celine. She's my girl.
Of course.
Come on.
I mean,
love Babs.
Love Babs. But is Celine your icon, your diva?
She's my icon. Her and Bette Midler.
Oh, the Rose. I mean,
the Rose, the Bette Midler at the Babs, her in the 70s, the comedy, and just a badass business person.
True.
Boss.
The comedy.
People will be like, she's difficult. You're like, get out of here, Karen.
I'm like, good.
Me too.
She is her. Like, I want whatever it is that she's doing, I don't want her to stop.
I love real deal, no holds barred, transparent, no bullshit. Story of my life. That's and you know what? People might not like it. It's okay.
And that's the way you gotta be, right? It's like,
how else are we gonna survive this business? Or life?
Yeah.
If you're walking around like, I don't know. Should I smile different? Bitch, get out of here.
Get out of
Do what you
here.
want. You are good enough to do whatever it is that you want to do. All the young children of America and the world that I've had the luxury of teaching this past month and a half, like one thing I impart is like you are allowed to do whatever it is that you want and be whoever it is that you want, and people might not agree with it. Screw them.
Hell yeah. I love that you're teaching that to kids right now, especially. I was just, my old theater professor had me on her podcast about talking to young kids who want to do this for their living. And she was like, I don't know, I feel so weird. Like now that we're in a pandemic, like how do we express to these kids that they should still go for it? And so I love that you're doing that because what I said was like, a pandemic's not going to stop us. Like if getting up at 4 a.m. to go to a non-ec open call for Beauty and the Beast didn't stop you, this is not going to stop you. If this is what you need to do, you'll do it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm like anybody. We're gonna get through this. I know we're all in the stages of Coco. I call it the Coco Roro. Sorry, I just had dinner. I call it the Coco Roro. We are all in stages of this shit. Like in the beginning, everybody was like, "Oh," I remember I sat on my couch and I was like, "Oh my God, I have so much time now. Like it's crazy." And then it became like, "Oh God, I finished all of my shows. Like, should I start to learn how to sourdough bread, proof bread? Like, and then you're like, okay, well, I can go on a walk with, I just, like, do I need to meet somebody online? Like, and then you go through every little like grieving moment of the cocoa. And now we're all like, how about we just wear masks, do what it is that we love to do right now in the comfort of our own home. And I always tell kids, like, keep doing what you're doing now so that you're a step ahead of the game when you get out of the pandems. It's
That, yeah, that's the way. And like, this is, I mean, I know this sucks and like, there's no denying that, but you're right. Like this is an opportunity as well to get ahead of the game, to like
and you
figure
learn
out,
about yourself. You like, and you don't
yeah.
want to learn about yourself. You're like, I hate that thing that I do. I hate the fact that I'm lazy sometimes. I can't stand the fact that I try and do everything all at once and then I burn out. And then you learn all these things about yourself. And I think that's kind of a blessing right now. I know some people are going to be like, oh, you're so meditative, stupid. But I think it's like, I think there's a reason that this is happening. I think that we needed to go on pause because I know that I've learned a lot about myself and I've learned who I don't want to deal with anymore. And you don't
That
have
is,
to. Am I right, Tim?
you are so right, Jessica. I can't even, yeah, that's, I mean, I hope a lot of people are learning that because that's like kind of one of the most beautiful things you can take away from in this life is I was just listening, Wendy McLennan Covey, the blonde woman from Bridesmaids and Reno 911.
Yes. Yes, yes,
I was listening
yes.
to her on a podcast and she said something so similar to that that like struck me so hard that was like, don't give little pieces of yourself away to people. If you feel like you're around people who are taking stuff from you of who you are, uh, that sorry, those people are not for you. And you got to
Yeah.
figure that out sooner rather than later.
Yeah. And you can, there is such thing as outgrowing people. Like even if
Mm,
somebody might have been your friend for a really long time and in no way, shape, or form are they a horrible person, you've just outgrown the situation. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like there's no apology needed. You mourn the loss like you would any other relationship, but maybe now because it's the cocoa, we're all forced to actually deal with it and sit here and go, I don't need that in my life right now, or that maybe that thing was making me really anxious. Let's cut that shit out. And
anxious.
oh,
That is,
anxiety. Who's on the anxiety? Beep beep. I'll be your conductor this evening of the anxiety train, baby.
baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know if you have this experience working with kids, but I recognize it so much more in them than I did when we were kids. It's just like anxiety is like running amok. And I think it's because there's a lot of stuff as a part of our society that contributes to it that we need to figure out how to, like social media as like but yeah, it's like the constant comparisons make you more anxious.
Oh, it's like, look, I'm like 800 years old as far as like children are concerned. So when I was growing like in high school and even in the beginning of college, like Facebook was not even invented. Cell phones Maybe I had a cell phone when I was like a junior in high school, so I could be like, "Hey, mom, I'm at the movies. Can you pick me up like around the corner? Don't tell my friends." Like that's the only reason I had a phone. And the
Yeah.
phone was like 911 or text your parents or call them to come pick you up. And there was no like it was not that. Like I had a Winnie the
Mm-mm.
Pooh sticker on the back. Yo, what's up? And that's it. I didn't have social media. I had high school was hard enough to have to compare yourself to everybody else. Like it's the worst. So when a lot of people ask what my platform was while playing Elphaba, because you can choose so many different things and there's so many other women who've done it before who are brilliant. And I thought, okay, I got to do it on tour in the 15th anniversary and my platform was about social media and being bullied. And that's what I made it about. Like kids these days, I don't know how they do it. I really don't know, because everybody who sits behind their little personal device and they just troll other people for the hell of it because they're bored, they
Yeah.
have no idea how truly awful that makes other people feel. I always tell people I can handle throw stuff at me. I get on Twitter fights. Like that's one of my favorite things to do is wake up and be like, I feel like, what am I going to start a fight about today? So I can take it. Yeah. Like I can spar, but there are moments where like people have said things on social media to me who I don't even know. And it makes me question myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we all experience that. I can't imagine it like at your level and having played such an iconic role and the things that people are probably throwing at you. But this has been such a common theme with every Elphaba we've had on here. And I had the Search for Elle Woods girls, the reality show that
Oh
was
yeah.
from 2008. We did a reunion on here with them. And I mean, that was like the start of social media around 2008. And they had such deep trauma from that. And they were like, if you're a young person watching this or an adult, mature person, know that what you say to people matters. Like we shouldn't let it infiltrate us, but you are saying that horrible thing to somebody and you wouldn't say it to their face.
Exactly. That's the thing. This is exactly where I go to. I'm like, if I have something to say to you, I will absolutely say it to your face or through a Zoom, or, I will let you know personally, and it's not going to be passive aggressively done. It's just going to be like, guess what? I have an issue. Either we can fix it or we cannot, but I wouldn't take to the social meds and be like, ew, such a bitch. Like that's
Oh,
not, yeah.
that's not anything. It's not anything other than like negative, because it's not real communication. You don't have a
No, and these poor
relationship with that
kids,
person. Yeah.
God, I'm like, you guys, like kids who are struggling with depression, anxiety, body image, LGBTQ plus. That was also my other platform as Alphabet. Was like, I'm such a huge ally and advocate for gay rights that I wanted to bring like a feeling of I don't know what it's like to be singled out or, like, for lack of a better word, shat on because I am a member of the gay community. I don't know what that feels like. So I asked a lot of friends, like, through their experiences that they've gone through, the fact that they couldn't get married and they've been together for 30 years. And that,
Mm.
all these things are so recent that should have happened such a long time ago. And I just think about the fact that I feel like it's such a beautiful love letter sometimes to the gay community to watch this character say, I'm okay with who it is that I am.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Mm-hmm.
can't tell me anything different. I am who I am. You might be my parent and not agree with me. You might, I might have been afraid of the power that I hold by speaking my truth. But once you've spoken it, other people might hate you for that. But that's your power. That's you
That's your
coming into your
power.
power.
That's what
And
makes you fly, baby.
that's a
Yeah.
scary thing, girl. That's a scary thing when somebody gets their power.
And that I love that you just said that, because I think we've been discussing a little bit like, what is it about Elphaba that makes young LGBTQ people in particular, and young straight girls, and a lot of people feel really, really seen. And I think you just hit the nail on the head of it's that idea of who I am and what I present to the world is beautiful. And we watch her really have a beautiful arc to get there. And I think that ties into what you were also saying about taking this time right now in quarantine to figure out what we really want and who we really are. Any young children watching this know that, you know, in my 20s, in my theater days in New York City, I was very hung up on like being a cool theater kid and hung out with a lot of like very talented people who, for lack of a better term, were those people that would like pick up the phone and be like, look what such and such is posting. So, and it stopped me from being able to create. And I didn't want to put stuff out there. But this last week, I saw that video of you and Shoshana and Aiden Espinoza and Adina and so many Elphabas. And I was like, I'm not this kind of YouTuber. I don't make reaction videos. That feels, you know, like not really making art. It feels like commenting on art. And I was like, fuck it. Why wouldn't this is bringing me so much joy? Why wouldn't I do this? And children watching, because I did that, I'm now getting to interview Jessica Vosk.
Well,
So,
but also imagine like all the other people that enjoyed it, myself included, you know, sit here going, thank you for doing that, because you thought it up and it was so super hilarious and creative, on top of the fact that it's something that you enjoyed watching. And that is in itself, like when you take the reins of your own life, and I know how difficult it is to do because I only speak from experience. I have been there. People have tried to do this to me all the time. And once you say screw it, and once you say like, you know, I'm gonna keep doing what it is that I do, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry you feel that way, but all these other people like it, so I'm gonna keep doing it. And that's a scary thing, especially young girls. When you say like young girls coming to see the show, people LGBTQ plus, you know, watching somebody be shuttered act one and have to feel like, you know, Elphaba is walking around with trying to take care of everybody else while also being bullied because she's different. So my thing has always been like, we get it. She's green. She's the only green person on stage. I don't know what it's like to be bullied because of my skin color, but a lot of Black people do. And that is what that ties into this whole movement that we are looking at right now, which is like, once for characters who are standing on stage representing those who are not seen, or those who are not thought of as pretty or normal, or, you know, somebody that I want to be friends with because we're scared of them because they look different than we do, or they might be like, they speak a different language than we do. Any bullying comes from fear. Anything othered comes from fear. It's like, okay, because I don't know enough about it, I'm too scared of it. Oh, you're gay? Well, then obviously you're gonna hit on me. That's not how it works. That's not how it works, gents. All of my gay friends, which are so many gorgeous gay men, are too gorgeous to want to hit on the straight guys. So just, get over the fear of the situation that you're in, and you are going to find your own power. And then you find that when people have things to say about it, you're okay brushing it off because you know who you are. It takes a long time to get there, though. And it took me a long time.
Do you feel, I know you've had this question many times in interviews, so if we don't want to super dive into it, we can skate right past.
Bring it, babe.
Do you think that your move from the Wall Street world to Broadway, I know it wasn't exactly like, oh, Wall Street world to Broadway, but to following this passion, do you think that plays into how well you know yourself and what you want?
Yeah, sometimes to a fault, I think, because when you live such different lives, it's like that time of my life. And I still talk to colleagues of mine from that old job. And And I remember what it was like back then, but I was a different person. I
Mm.
was a completely different person. I never saw any theater. I refused to go to shows. I refused to listen to Broadway musicals. I refused to do anything artsy. I didn't go to any concerts. And it stifled me as a person so much. I became bitchy and jaded and mean and sad. And, everything affected me because I truly do believe that what you put around you and the things that, you attract are going to become your lifestyle. And so I was really sad. And I know that it's because I wasn't allowing myself to do what I loved.
Mm.
And it's really scary to make a leap and a pivot. And it wasn't something that my parents were thrilled about at the time when I called them. They were like, no. And
Warning, danger, Will Robinson.
they were like, SOS, abort, abort. And it was really hard. It was what you said, showing up to the auditions at 6 a.m. and you're in a room, cattle called, you're non-equity. You don't know if you're going to get seen. That's a job in itself. You don't have an agent. You're walking around with like 2 huge bags because you're going from audition to audition, and then you're babysitting at night, and then it's like, boy, do you realize how strong you are, especially if you're in New York City. And I know there's a lot of students who I've been teaching, at least, and maybe some people watching this who are like, I want to move to New York, especially when the cocoa's over. And I really do believe that you are able to move your ass to New York and see how it goes, because it is a tough city. I always tell people, I will be 100% honest with you and tell you that it is going to be so hard trying to make it in this career.
Mm-hmm.
I hustle like it's my job. I still do to this day. I don't think I'm better than anyone else. I want to keep, climbing that, mountain of my own, just like everybody else does. And I don't think that anybody who's just starting out, I don't think I'm better than them. I don't think I'm better than anybody who's, at the end of their game. It's a hard business, but it taught me how to be super resilient, how to have the thickest skin, to a fault. And it did make me who I am today. But again, I made my Broadway debut at age 30, which again is like 700 in dog years. And I did a lot of things really fast, and I worked really, really hard, and I know what it's like to give up other things that you want in your life to make your dream happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. In the process, it was like, boy, did I realize how powerful I was, especially after that Broadway contract with Elphaba ended. I was like, oh, I'm strong. I am a strong mofo.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just fucking surviving in New York City
Ooh.
at all makes you a strong mofo. And I love what you said about the time when you were, I'm paraphrasing you, but more or less lost that joy of who you are, of what you love, because I have so many friends, especially female friends from college, who are wildly talented and amazing singers, amazing dancers, amazing actors. But it is so much harder for women in this business. It just is. The competition, especially in theater, competition is, you go to a male call and there are way less men. You go to a female call for something, there's way more women. And I have so many friends who I know love musical theater, but like you're saying, went into a corporate job or started waiting tables or whatever it is. And, in college, we used to blast musical theater in our cars. And now that thing of I don't really want to listen to this, but I think the beauty of that is you can find it for yourself with whatever that means to you. You don't have to wait tables if that is making you miserable. You can write, you can work for Broadway.com, you can be a blogger, there's so many ways to love.
Yes. And there's so many ways to be in this business. Mm-hmm. Where you don't have to feel like, oh God, I have to book that role, I have to get that part. Because if I could tell you how many times I have had people comment on my looks or what I weighed at the time, or that I needed to lose 10 pounds in order to play this role in a show, or I need, like that is stuff that you take with you that is so hard to digest, because you have to remember like, okay, well, this is the business I'm in and I understand that it's a business. But there's also so many other facets to it. Like if you don't want that particular path of the actor, which is like brutal, especially on Broadway, it's brutal. There's stage management. There's, like you said, working Broadway.com, Broadway World, Playbill. I mean, it's like limitless, unlimited. For you to utilize what it is that you love, and get a lot from it, and that you don't have to turn yourself off. And I only say it from experience, because I used to ride around in the woods of Jersey growing up and blast musical theater, blast Thoroughly Modern Millie, blast The Secret Garden, blast every Broadway show that I loved, Les Mis, Phantom, all of it, in my car on the back roads, and like get lost singing to it. And I remember my path of going into finance and being like, well, I guess this is my life now. And that's not, there's no rule book. So it's not like, okay, I decided to go into law, or I'm a paralegal, or I'm a receptionist, or I'm an accountant, and I'm sitting at a desk and people write me all the time and say, I hate what it is that I do. Okay, well, find what it is that you love to do. And you actually can make a success story out of that.
Yes.
You can. You have to be willing to work for that shit. But you can. And it is not easy. It's a grind. But you have to want it more than you're afraid of it. And that's the secret. I really do think that. I'm like, look, I'm scared of so much crap, but I always will face all of that shit head on. Because again, hey, Michael Jordan, don't mean to take your phrase away from you, but you miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. Okay?
You know, I had his cologne in the 6th grade, and it smelled so bad, but I wore it every day.
Oh, honey. Oh, it's just how, listen, everybody who knows me knows that I loved vanilla lace from Victoria's Secret mixed with a little amber romance. Oh, that was my scent in high school. That was it.
Hell yeah, I did that, and a lot of Curve.
Oh,
yeah.
Did I ever? I fell in love with a boy who wore Burberry, and I will never forget it. His name was Andy. See, it all comes back. And he would wear that, and that, you know how you smell something and you're like, oh, that takes me back to 6th grade.
Takes you right back.
Bring me some effing cologne right now. I'm going to tell you all the boys I liked. That's what this is.
Since you tell us about the boys you like, what were your slumber parties like growing up?
Well, I was just going to say that I remember going to a slumber party as a kid in grade school, and it was, we everybody lived in a development. So I was in a development, and you drove a mile, and my parents were like, okay, we're dropping you off at Amy's house. Have a great sleepover. And then of course I was the girl who 10 o'clock when they were all like, okay, it's time to everybody get in their sleeping bags. I was like, I don't think I could do this. I'm not in my own bed. I'm not sure. What if I need water, or what if something happens? I think you need to call my parents.
What if I need water? I will not be able to find water here.
But that, I'm sorry, who was I back then? So my mom came to pick me up from the slumber party that I was so excited to go to, because I was I don't know, you guys, this is weird. I just feel, I don't know. And what kind of person was I? And then we did a lot of, do you remember doing all state choir, or
oh yeah,
shout out to the choir kids. Always sleepovers. You would never sleep. It would be you'd get so giddy that you would laugh at, not funny shit. I mean,
Not
like,
funny at all. Just
like,
yeah.
like you would look at the ceiling and be like, oh my. And so I had so many of those sleepovers. Of course, you know, some of the boys I had crushes on, like it was all like you couldn't, the girls' room was over here and the guys' room was over here. And but like you would do the thing where you'd go to the bathroom and be like, hey Gary, like I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you know your part. Like do you want to go over it? And
10 or 2, right?
those, oh God, and like I had a lot of really fun slumber parties throughout high school. Like I remember, and I was allowed to go to my first co-ed slumber party for prom or something like that. And like we went down to,
a big deal.
oh, it's
That
a
was a big
huge deal.
Yeah.
Big deal. Cause like, listen, if you live in Jersey, you know about the Jersey Shore. And so we went down the Jersey Shore and it was, oh my God, it was awful, Tim. It was such a dump. It was like maybe meth deals happen there. Like that's where we're at. Like it was like, could there be some crack on the corner? And like, and I thought I was so cool. I was like, I'll stay on the couch, you guys. It's a love seat, whatever. I'm only 5'3". Like I was so too cool for school. I think I got like my ear pierced up here and I didn't show my parents. And I was like, and then it got infected and I was like,
no, it got infected. No.
Yes. Like, of course it did, because that's what would happen to me. I'd be like, no, I'm not going to tell my parents. And then like, you know, you hug your mom and I was like, ow, ow, you know, and therein, I had to tell them that I had my ear pierced. There was a lot, I got grounded a lot. Because I was a rebel, Tim.
You were a rebel. I will never forget at my first co-ed sleepover having like 3 sips of a natty light. I'm just being like, oh man, I am tired, man. Oh, I need to go to the bathroom because I'm gonna throw up because I'm so tired. Like we really and pre social media, so like not pre-internet, but you weren't like using the internet like you do now.
Nope.
Look up like how if I have 3 sips of beer, will I look stupid if I pretend to be drunk? How drunk will I be?
I swear to you, you know, everybody had like the, like either you were just like, I just turned 21, like it was the cool parent, like the parents of the friend, and like you were home from college and you could go like to their house for the weekend and they were like the cool ones who were like, just drink in the basement, you guys, like keep it, like, you know, you're 21 now, like be responsible. And I just remember like I might have had like a sip of some kind of cinnamon schnapps or something, and I was like, I'm telling you right now, I was like, what, you guys, this is so crazy, you guys. Kyle. And I had this is real. Kyle was real. I was like, Kyle, let's go sit on the grass and look at the stars. And I did that for 5 hours.
No.
I don't like, no. And again, no social media where we'd be like, guys, like that didn't exist. It was like, should we go in the pool? Like, just awful. And thank God social media didn't exist. Yeah, I love my life, you guys. Let's play Manhunt. Remember Manhunt?
No, what is that?
I'm 700. It was like you would go, it was like, it was pre like the world being like scared of everything. And your parents would be like, yeah, guys, the sun's down. It's hide and seek. It's hide and seek, but outside.
In Ohio, we called it something else, but yeah, yes, absolutely.
Okay, Ohio. Did you guys tip cows? Cow tipping?
Everyone would try, and I would always be like, I'm not doing that because I don't feel good. But in my head, I was like, cows are heavy. It's not. The act of cow tipping is like such an easy feat. They're like very big animals.
I have never done it. I've never done it, and I will never do it.
No, it's a Midwest myth, I think. But Manhunt, so scary. So spooky.
Oh, so scary. And like, oh, maybe there's a flashlight involved and you're like,
yes.
you know, and it was all I just like you think of those like relived days of your youth, and you like Ouija board, like those were slumber parties I used to have. Like, okay, you guys, like put your hands on the thing and the Ouija board will move it around. And like I was scared shitless because my alarm clock went off at like 3 a.m. and I was like, it's the devil. Oh God. Satan. Oh my God. And I like threw the Ouija board away. I did it. I was like, oh no, children of Eden. I just
It's
like I was like,
happening.
I can't, it's happening now. Somebody's oh God. And so for weeks after my two best friends and I used the Ouija board, I was convinced that like I was in The Craft, the film The Craft. Like
Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a
light as a
board.
feather, stiff as a board. I've done it. I've tried it all. I've tried it all.
Oh,
Like I've tried
my.
the seance, like let's light the can. Hey, any spirits? Like, I will never do that shit again. High school
I'm
Jess
not
was like,
fucking with that anymore.
no way. I don't,
No.
I have to get my sage out nowadays. I'm like, oh, my left knee hurts. Oh, better sage it. All
Knee
the,
hurts.
like,
In college, we were having a scary stay up all night, tell each other ghost stories night. And I swear to God, it was me and two of my very good friends. I leave at 3:30, 4 in the morning, something like that. And I go to get into the elevator of their building. I open the elevator door. The elevator is covered in a pool of
no, for real.
covered for real. And I start screaming and I ran back to the apartment. I was like knocking on the door and I was like, you guys, I mean, we had just spent 4 hours telling each other ghost stories. And I was like, you guys, the elevator is covered in a pool of blood. And they were like, sure, Tim. They were like,
Did they go see
sure.
it?
Of course." I was like, please come out. And they were like, it took forever. They were like, we're going to go out there. And then they were like, and then they started to believe me and we all grabbed hands and they were like, what if we open this elevator and it's gone? And we were like freaking out. But then it was there and it was like some drunk college kid had like cut his finger and we went and helped him and he was fine. But for the first 5 minutes, I was like, we spent 4 hours telling ghost stories and then
Trust when I tell you, I completely agree with you on the fact that I would be scared shitless. I'd be like, it's the Devon Sawa movie. What's that movie?
Casper?
I love you so hard for that. Like, could I love you more for that? No, it's the thing like where everything happens as an effect of something and then like it's like a murder movie. Why am
Oh,
I not? It's like they're on an airplane and he sees the airplane go down and
yes.
prevents
Oh,
it from happening.
not Fatal Attraction, a Final Destination.
Final Destination. Although Tim, God bless you for loving Glenn Close on
That
a Fatal
movie,
Attraction moment. But I
the
mean,
best.
I'm also obsessed with crime podcasts and like anything that has to do with solving crime or murder.
Mhm.
Bring it on.
Have you listened to Escaping Nexium? Do you know about this?
Yes. Yes.
You listen to it? Did you listen to it? It is, I mean,
Yes.
that shit. I love all the crime ones too. And that one really, I was like,
See, but I
what?
consider that to also be like true crime kind of because of everything that
Yeah.
happened in the what cult like atmosphere.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nuts. It's nuts.
That really, I was like, I can't. What are your other crime pods do you like?
Well, if you like that one, you have to listen to the one called Guru right now, which is kind of very much like the Nexium one, Escaping Nexium. You have to listen to Guru. I love Sword and Scale. I love any Dateline stuff that's on my Spotify. I love Crime Junkie. It's my fave. It's a Monday. Every Monday, there's a new crime that needs to be solved. Hey, gals. They gave me a jacket once with their logo on the back, and I was like, so crazy. I love crime. And truly, Someone Knows Something. I've listened to it all. Tim, I'm not well. I'm like, I've had a thought in my head like, wow, am I basically the poor man's Kim Kardashian who's like, I'm a lawyer now. You know what I mean? I know how to make it. I know the lingo.
Yeah.
I know how to make it work. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I object on that for the fact that my client didn't possibly know what took place at that time because there's no circumstantial evidence. Next, I know I would be a great lawyer.
Clearly.
And Kim did it. I mean,
Kim did it. So
she didn't go to law school. She was like, I
it.
went to law school. Yeah, she's like, I went to law school. I'm like, okay, what was this like the law school of television? Because you're sitting there and you're like, I got this done in 2 hours, and now I get to be a lawyer. Come on, sis.
Sis, Come on.
Yes.
This is
And listen, I'm down, but go ahead, Tim. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I could chat with you forever. Oh, I'm gonna ask some of the questions from the comments. Thank you guys so much
please.
for tuning
Fred's
in.
here.
Hi, Fred. Oh, Fred. Hello, bunny. Oh,
Fred
little
Vosk.
sweetie.
Yeah, he's like,
I
I want to go on a walk. What you been doing, Mom? I know. I love you so hard. I love you. Get out of here.
So cute.
I know. Okay.
Kristen Kuntz Miller, thank you, Kristen, in the comments said, Jessica, what is your favorite song on your album Wild and Free? And I'm so glad she brought that up because we gotta talk about it.
Oh God. That album has meant so much to me. We're coming up on the 2-year anniversary of making it. And I can't believe that I had such luck to do it with such a group of people who I love so much. And I go through like phases of what's my favorite. Right. I really love how we did Chandelier on the album. We added like super amazing percussion to it and major strings to it, which was like a dream for me. I also love Woke the Fuck Up. It's one of my favorite songs to sing. I love John Bellion. He's an artist. He's the guy who originally wrote it. And we made it acoustic. And Marissa Rosen and Marty Thomas, who are my like two like
best.
Could They Be More Angelic, are featured in that song as well. And I also have such a soft spot for the Help Being Alive little medley, because you just don't know that it's going to go from help, I need somebody.
Was that your idea?
Somebody. It was Robbie Roselle and my sort of like brainchild of like, put this mofo together. And it worked really well. It worked really, really well. And that's what I loved about putting the album together is like, I do love Broadway, but I'm also a rock gal. So I love to do both. And it can be done.
Not only can it be done, you're a real, you just bridge the world so well of musical theater and rock and pop. My boyfriend, I'm not kidding you, every 3 minutes plays the video you put on Instagram of Into the Unknown, and the song's escaping me, but what is that song?
It's the song is Before You Go. Was there something I could have said to make your heart beat better? It's such a good song.
What a good song. We had never heard it, and we now are obsessed with the original version, but also
so good.
How did you figure that out?
I have a weird brain. Sorry guys, I have to do it. Yeah. I have a weird brain because I don't know. I've got this weird computer brain sometimes when it comes to music where I just, if I hear one song, and I heard the Before You Go song first, and I remember being like, wait a minute, if this is in the same key as Into the Unknown. And I was like, there's got to be a way I could put these together. And so I came up with the idea, and my brother and we like to write a lot of songs together. And I texted him and I was like, hey, I need to come over and talk to you about this mashup. And yeah, we put it together, and I texted Kristen Lopez, who wrote Frozen, who wrote the score to Frozen. And I was like, I'm originally I wanted to be able to do it as a single for BCFA, but because of Disney rights and things like that, they weren't able to do it. So hopefully I'll be able to do something like that soon. But the mashup, I'm so proud of it. I'm just proud because I was like, it came out of nowhere when I was walking the dog, and I was like, these two songs I think would go quite well together.
Those are the best moments, right? When you just like get to use your when you're out walking your dog or you're doing something else and you get that like surge of creative idea.
Yeah. And then like, I'm such a weird perfectionist that like, then I text like Scott Hoying from Pentatonics, because he's the master of mashups. And I'm like, Scott, you have to tell me if this is good. And when he's like, yes, that's really good, then I was like, okay, I'm doing it.
Because it's so good. Yeah.
Thanks. Tell your boyfriend. Thanks, babe. Fred, honestly, Fred, not in front of the kids. Okay.
Fred. My boyfriend's in the other room. we're on like a 10-second delay, but we'll hear him scream in about 10 seconds from that on.
Okay, bye. Thank you. Do you want to leave us?
Bye,
Everybody's
Fred.
still
We
up.
love. Oh, what
Okay.
a sweetie. Oh, hello. Hello. He's like,
He's
hello, make me the
Fred
star.
knows where the camera is and he understood. Yeah, look at him. See?
As you said that, he gave
You
the
see?
side eye.
Do you
What a
see?
star.
He's like, oh, the ring light. Bitch,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
That's my
yeah,
angle.
yeah. I'm
Oh.
sorry. I've taken you away from other questions. Is there another one?
That's fine. There is a Brian W. wants. Someone said she's so funny. She needs to do stand up.
I would
Okay.
effing do it. I would do it,
Hell
girl.
yeah. Brian W. says, "What is your favorite city that you've toured as Elphaba, and will you bring a cabaret act around the
Ooh.
country?"
I would bring my concert around the country in a jack-hot lickety split second. Okay, I've got a lot. Yeah, are we boring you? I've got a lot of um new songs to add into the mix that I'm gonna be doing in like the next couple of months at an actual live show. Keep your eyes peeled, cats. And uh here's the deal. I loved Columbus, Ohio. I just loved Columbus so hard because the gay community there was lit. And it's like a
Mm-hmm.
college town, but also it's just like I felt so at home with the creativity there. And I've done like a couple one-off concerts there because composers were like, can you come out to Columbus? And I'm like, I will drop all of my shit to go to Columbus because I loved it so much. It was really great. I loved my East Coast cities, Boston and Philly, obviously, but I loved Minneapolis. Um, and I also like my opening city was South Bend, Indiana, which um, it's a little too conservative for me to put it
That was
nicely.
up.
Okay. So, but I will tell you, like at Notre Dame, there's a beautiful thing called the grotto where you just like sit and it's all full of candles, and it made me feel like I was in a folklore video, like a Taylor Swift folklore video. It's like, oh my God, like this is like my own personal, like, let me light a candle and also be like, I knew you standing in your Levi's, something with the Wi-Fi.
Something with the Wi-Fi. Just giving that Lana Del Rey.
I don't know the lyrics yet.
Lana-
Oh, Lana Del Rey. She's like, oh, it's so weird. Like I lit a candle and like it gave me self-expression and now I feel like I can do anything. Like that's what my experience was there. And so I'm super happy about that. But I loved touring because the fans were so damn incredible in every city. They really were. They really were.
That's so fucking awesome. I love that you said that about Columbus because I'm from Ohio originally, and Columbus always kind of had a bad rep growing up because we were closer to Cleveland, and like Cleveland was our city, and Columbus was like, only the Ohio State crazies were there. But I love that you said that
Interesting.
because I just went back there recently and I had the same experience. I did my stand-up show there. I was like, this is so gay. It's so fun. It's so inclusive. The bars were great. And I
Yes.
did my show
Yes.
at like a regional theater there that had an entire lineup of only LGBTQ plays for their full year of like only lesbian playwrights, bi playwrights, gay players, trans playwrights. I was like, that's fucking cool in the middle of the country. Yeah, shout out to
Yeah,
Columbus.
yeah,
We
somewhere
love
where
that.
you wouldn't expect it. Yeah, and I love like they have a fresh farmers market in the middle of town, and you can
Mm.
go on these amazing bike rides by the river. I had such a good. I went on a random date there because I love dating, and I like went on a random date. I don't know how I met him. I don't even know how. It must have been on Bumble at the time. I was bored, and so I went on a date with this guy. He took me to dinner at this lovely place in Columbus, and he must have been, I think he was a medical tech, but I thought he was a doctor. It didn't work out. And but it was lovely. It was just lovely. And I had a blast, but it's I think the gay community shines in Columbus so much, and it's amazing when you allow the gay community to start doing shit in your city. That's when things get good. Like when you see, like,
Mhm.
yes, we all know that Jenny's ice cream is the shit, but bring the gays to Jenny's ice cream, and then you're gonna have everybody around the block for Jenny's ice cream. I had a blast. I love Columbus.
I love that. Sarah Ord just asked an excellent question. Thank you, Sarah. I love this question. If you could play any male role, what would it be?
Oh, snap. God, I really want to play Orpheus in Hadestown. I've always wanted to play Orpheus in Hadestown. I love Hadestown. I think it's some of the best theater I've seen before the Coco. And I would love to I would love the opportunity to like go back if they ever did a revival that was gender bent of Les Mis and play Valjean. I don't know why.
Hell
I've
yeah.
always wanted to play Eponine because watch, I'm so alone. You see? Like Marius. Ooh. And that has always been a dream role for me where I'm like, don't you fret, Monsieur Marius. I don't
iconic
feel
cough.
any pain. Oh. Yeah. And you just, I mean, come on.
Because we loved scary movies growing up, we want to die on stage. That is my theory. It's seeing The Craft and like seeing those girls just get to walk around and be like, oh, the number of times growing up, I would just pretend to be running away from a killer and then, fall to the ground.
Yes, that's right. I would do Les Mis. I'm not joking you. I would do Les Mis surrounded by pillows in my room as Marius. So it would be like as a child. I was like, that's all I need to know. Oh. And I swear, I don't know how I turned out like a decent person. My parents were probably like, oh my God, like call the therapist right now. Let's get it going. She's literally a poster of Patrick Swayze on my door, no joke, and singing to pillows. God bless us, everyone. I know.
God bless us, everyone. Phenomenal. Someone said, Meredith L asks, what is another duet you'd really love to do?
Sorry, guys. Fred's drinking water again. Fred. A duet. Fred. I have been wanting to revamp Somewhere Out There. Remember that song? Somewhere out there, beneath the pale moonlight, someone's thinking of me and loving me tonight. So I texted Scott Pentatonics and I was like, can we do this duet together? And so I want to employ that somewhere because I've been inspired the past couple of days as far as choosing rep for shows to actually focus on where we are right now, which is like there's a lot of shit going on in the world right now. How can we escape that and feel like we have something to look forward to? And that song is so, by the way, that song is so good. Somewhere Out There.
It is. I can't believe that you're bringing this up because my boyfriend and I were just having a conversation about songs that make us cry instantly. And I said that one, but he's younger than me, so he didn't know it. And I was like, okay, I have to play it for you. And then, of course, as soon as they start playing it, both of us are just like, but I forgot that the way the mouse sounds in Skyfall, his voice is cracking like the whole time, and it is both.
What does he sound? Oh, you listen to his version. I see.
Yeah.
I need you to all go on the YouTubes and listen to the Linda Ronstadt original version, you guys.
Yeah.
I think she does it with Peebo Bryson, and Linda Ronstadt for me is like a vocal idol. Oh, that girl, that woman, for me, like she can do no wrong as far as vocals are concerned. Just like the tone, she's like a Joni Mitchell for me. But that's a duet that I want to bring into the fold. And also, Eva Noblezada and I are trying to figure out a duet to do. So if anybody has any thoughts, why don't you just write them down, God damn it.
Write them down, God damn it. Put them in the comments. Put this into the...
Yeah, we want to know a duet that you want to hear because we have an opportunity to do something live.
Someone said, are we ever going to get to see the Britney Spears dance?
Oh, Do you know what they're talking about, Tim?
No.
Like, there are several. Are we all not like, okay, first of all, you guys, I don't even know how to do it because it's that complex for me. I know I'm a dancer first, but I know that like we've all been waiting for me to do like the Britney moment, but all I'll do is like, all I know is, and comes from her Instagram, Tim, like hashtag free Britney, something's going on there, but also like
Yeah.
all of I'm obsessed with her though. My favorite thing is she's like, but then even better, like she does that. She's like, and she just takes it. She doesn't give a shit. But my favorite thing that she's put on here recently is, if you all have music happening in your mind right now, it's her going like this. And she just goes back and forth on camera, just like.
When she recently said to all my friends at the LGBTQ community, I was like, this is the best thing that has ever happened.
And let's go one step further. And she's like, you guys, everybody here has been asking what my favorite movies is. And I just wanted to say what my favorite Disney movie is Frozen, because it's two sisters and one of them leaves to go onto a mountain because she just can't deal.
That's the pitch. That's the log line for Frozen. She just can't deal. Yes. She was my first concert.
Oh, honey.
Grade, Baby One More Time in Cleveland. I'm not shitting you guys. It was everything. It was Baby One More Time.
I can only imagine.
She was brand new on the scene and she danced the shit out of it. She is, I know the voice is what the voice is, but she is undeniably a star. Like,
beyond. But if you ever look back to her Star Search days, she's got a really great voice. Like, I know that the record industry and the label, they were like, what we prefer is like, notice me, you know, like, I'm not a girl, not yet a woman. All I need is time. Like, we want a breath, but that is mine. It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever.
Good.
But she does have like, and you want to know a secret story? I mean, I don't know if you know it, but if you look up her Star Search, the person that she was up against in the finals was Marty Thomas. Does that blow your mind? I know.
What?
Oh yeah. You'll see them standing next to each other, answering the questions.
Holy crap.
Like, so where are you from? Marty Thomas. That's right.
Wow.
Again,
okay, I love that so much.
You have to look it up. It blows my mind every time I see it.
I love that. So I'll have to message him about that because that is wild. I opened my hour of stand-up with the dance she did at the 1999 VMAs with NSYNC. And I told a true story that when I was in the 5th grade, I was on an AIM chat room. Remember those? And
J Voskatorium 16. Yeah, whatever.
Voskatorium?
That's right. Where did I get it from? I have no effing idea. You guys don't ever listen to what I have to say. Ever.
You don't know what it means?
No.
Like auditorium, maybe?
Sure. Auditorium, laboratorium. I don't know. Who am I?
Mine was Scream King 0 because I wanted to be a Scream Queen like Neve Campbell. And the 0 was supposed to look like the face of the Scream mask.
Stop. Oh my. Okay. You win. I might not know what mine means, but you win.
It's bad. I got on a group chat with Britney Spears, like fans group chat, and a girl named Chessa2359 signed on and told us she was Britney Spears. So I started talking to her every single day after school for a year. And I broke up with my 5th grade girlfriend because I thought I was dating Britney Spears. And I was convinced that it was real.
There is nothing gayer than this, Tim. And I just want to say that I am so into it. I will, like, I would have done the same thing. That's a very 90 Day Fiance 2020. Like, that's a very, like, you know, hey,
Catfish
like, oh my
Central.
gosh, you're Britney. What are you doing? And she's like, I'm doing some sit-ups. I burnt down my gym. Like you just
The gym burning was, hi guys, I'm in my gym right now. It burned down,
she's like,
unfortunately.
unfortunately, there was a couple candles, but whatever, we're gonna fix it. I'm like, there are a few things that spark more joy than Britney. Like,
yeah.
And naturally, I want her to be absolutely content and okay in her life right now. But I always think about the fact, like, everybody who gets into these careers and has these like huge moments of stardom, it's very lonely on the other side of it all. You know what I mean? Like, to the world, you are one thing, but then you have to go home every single night, and it's a very, like, I consider myself like double D list of that. And so anytime I've come home from a show or like had a moment where I felt like, oh my God, rock star central, I still have to come home and pick up Fred's shit because he's looking at me like, and okay, so you belted that one. Okay, and like, take me for a walk, woman.
I pooped, so, like, woman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's like, it ain't gonna pick itself up. So that's life. That's life. And it's like, I just want Brit to be happy. I'm glad you dated her though for that time.
I know. I should text her and see how she's doing since she is my ex.
I think you should text your ex. Don't text your ex, you guys. Don't
text your ex, you guys. Speaking of you belting, I have a question for you.
Okay.
And that is, do you think there's any way we could package your voice as a security system? Because it makes me feel so safe. I worked on that. I workshopped
questions I've ever gotten. Might be the best question I've ever gotten. That's genius.
You're such an iconic Elphaba for that reason. It's like, that score is ungodly, unforgivable.
Oh.
And every time I've ever heard you sing, it's like, oh, well, I mean, she's got this. Like, there it goes. Everybody feels that way. Is it just like, have you always had that?
Well, I don't.
Do you ever? I guess a better question is, do you ever feel? Are there any songs that make you feel like, I don't know if I'm gonna get there?
I don't know. I mean, I'm so like, I think that as singers, we are like Olympic athletes, and so I'm so insane about. I've always been so insane about vocal health and like how I'm approaching singing. And I had a vocal coach beginning when I was 15 who taught me everything about what I call like super healthy mixed belting. And I've never worked with anybody like him since. And he doesn't teach anymore, I don't think. But I've always taken that with me. And if there's ever anything that I feel is too much, like, I'll back off of it a little bit. Like, if I have to sing Chandelier live over and over again, like, that's a hard song. And so the chorus of that song, like, over and over again, like, I'm gonna fly like a bird through the night, in my tears like the jar. You just like, and it from the chandelier, and it would be like, you know, how do I place this properly? How do I, if I want to give it a straight tone, how do I do that properly? I think I get very scientific with mechanics of it all. And I approached Wicked that way. And I trained physically because I feel like the more you train, the better your core will be at supporting your voice. And I'm also like, if I don't feel well, like if I think I'm getting sick, like, I'm calling out. I'm not going to hurt myself. And that's hard to call out of Broadway shows because, of course, you know, then you get your stage manager who's like, why are you calling out? And you're like, oh, because I want to go see a movie. No, because I don't feel good. And it's a really, you know, that role is, like you said, it's like
I love Fred.
I mean, you know, here's a reminder, guys, hydrate. And also, when you're doing Wicked and you're playing Elphaba, you get no time off stage to shoot the shit. Like, you literally get no time to stand and drink water or have a conversation with a friend. You are literally, if you're off stage, you're changing or moving or walking with your dresser who knows when you get your water. It is like a game of Tetris. It's insane. If you could just stand backstage and watch any Elphaba, it is like the choreography backstage is so much harder than the choreography on stage of that role.
Yeah,
and you're
like
carrying
running,
a 40-pound dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're running, you're carrying a dress. You have to run off stage, underneath the stage, through the orchestra pit, get on the elevator and sing Via and start No Good Deed. And that's like, I remember like 300 shows in on Broadway or something. I was like, I got on the elevator. I blew my nose because that was like my thing. I'd blow my nose. I'd put the tissue in the tissue box and I'd look over at my stage manager and I'd be like, why this shit does not get easier? And they're like calling the show. They're like 3, 2. No, it doesn't. 1 and go. I was like, it just doesn't. It just doesn't. And you have to like, it really like now that we've all had this break to sit here and rest a little bit. Once I go back to do a Broadway show, I'm gonna have to get on top of my shit, like vocally and physically again, and do all of my crazy warm-ups. I warmed up to Wicked by doing the entire Glinda Let Us Be Glad coloratura thing in the beginning. That was my Wicked warm-up every show.
That's so fun.
It's so fun. And like when people are like, well, how did you know you were warm? I'm like, that's the only thing I would do. And if I had those soprano notes, like I was good to go. I knew that I could do the show.
Oh, that's really smart and really cool. That's such a fun.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
it's a little
wacky.
That was one of my things that people were like, how did you? I said, because I was classically trained first as a singer, I think, and had to do all the operatic stuff. And I think that probably helped me to be able to do the belty stuff. If that makes sense. It's kind of weird to say, but
no, that totally makes sense. It's like getting that foundation first is then allows you to do the other thing.
Yeah, and then fans give you things like this, and like Fred loves them because somebody gave me this when I played Elphaba. Fred, go live your dreams. I love you, child. Okay, go on.
What was the casting experience like of getting that role?
Oh, it's hard because I auditioned for it to play Elphaba on tour. And so normally the way it works with Wicked mostly is that people who are in the company as ensemble members or swings or people who have stood by or understudied get bumped up. And so I was doing Fiddler at the time, and I was living like I called her scary ghost drag queen dreams. Like Firma Sarah was like, I got to wear like literal 9-inch nails, and I walked around like slapping people in the face with that shit. I had soccer balls as tatas, and I like got to just be in drag. And so I called her Dead Elphaba because at the very end of it, I would be like, here's your wedding present. If she marries Laser, woo! And I would go off stage singing that note or speaking that tone. And I was like, this shit's like Elphaba. By the way, no, it's not. Elphaba is like death. But so the casting director came to see the show and brought me in, and it's a lot. It's everything from the show. All the material that you are given is from Wicked. So it's not like you come in with your own 16 bars. It's all very, very specific. You are put on camera for the creative team because the show's been running for so long that nobody is in the same place anymore. And it was really hard. It was like, do Defying Gravity 3 times in a row. And then do I'm Not That Girl. And let's do this scene. And let's change it up and do it this way. And there was a callback or two. And I thought to myself, I had never done any iteration of Wicked before. I was a new person joining the fold. And I was like, the usual thing is that somebody who's done the show gets it. So when they finally told me, one of the casting directors came to see me in Fiddler, came by the stage door and texted me. He's like, I'm downstairs. Can you say hi? I was like, oh my God, yeah. And I had no idea why he was there. And I went outside. I said hi. He was with his puppy. And he was like, oh, by the way, you have to put your notice in because you booked Wicked. And I, bless him, Caesar, he works for Netflix now, but
I love Caesar.
Do we not love Caesar? And I looked at him just without even thinking, and I was like, screw you, get away. I'm not your friend anymore. This is a very horrible joke that you just played on me.
Prank.
Get out. And he was like, no, I asked if I could tell you personally, and you booked it. And he championed me, as well as Craig Burns, through the process, because it's difficult, like, to have to be somebody new coming into a machine that has been running for that many years. And it's a curve, man. It's like, I did it on tour. Thank God I did it on tour first, because Broadway is much harder. And you really, I think any green girl who has, had the pleasure of playing this role will tell you how difficult it is. I mean, there's no two ways about it. It will break you, but it will also change your life in some really amazing ways. But it was a lot. It was the process of auditioning, and then like touring as Elphaba is a whole different thing, because you're in 90 degrees one week and then you're in 60 degrees, and so your voice is like, help me, baby. But you do it. You make it work.
Damn,
that I know.
That's really crazy, and that's really fun, T. That's such a fun story. We saw Frozen in Denver, and I remember just thinking, like, not the tour, but before it came to Broadway, and she's singing the end of Let It Go, and just being like, the elevation there is so high that, like, I was having trouble just breathing, walking around. But I was like, how is she breathing and singing that? Yeah, going to different cities is like, what the hell is happening nuts here now? Yeah.
And you don't know until you do it, so there's no way you could prepare for that. There's no way you could be like, dear diary, I can't wait to go here, and I'm gonna bring an oxygen machine. Like, there's no, you just do it. But it does it like you. I can't believe I did that 3 years ago, and then Broadway after that, and have had all these opportunities, of course, from it, because it opens up so many other opportunities. And during the 15th anniversary in itself was like a whirlwind of a time, and I'm really lucky. I mean, I know it's not lost on me how lucky I am that I got to do it.
That's fucking cool. Well, so many people in the comments love you, and I'm so glad that you're here. And now we are going to end this portion of the podcast and go on over to the Patreon. If you guys want to watch some Slumber Party games, we're going to play some Slumber Party games. The Patreon link is in the description. This will be up later tonight. But before we go, is there anything? Oh, first of all, buy Wild and Free. It is so good. I love it. I blare it in my car. It is fucking awesome. Is there anywhere you want people to follow you? If they're
just the usual good old Jessica Vosk. That's my name on the socials, and just come on by, say hi. I'm just a weird kind of gal living my life in New Jersey, and I'm a dog mom. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm really well-rounded. It's what I want to say. Like, I'm well-rounded. I understand, like, Peloton at this time. and that's really all you get from me. And you get, like, those riffs that you will get from me. If you're following my Instagram, I have a garden now,
Oh, that's a really good idea for that. A garden is such a good idea for quarantine.
I have this outdoor terrace, and I'm telling you, I go out there and I have like an Amy Adams moment in Enchanted. I'm like, well, tomatoes, you look great today. There's basil, there are flowers, there's a pepper over them. I will water you, little plants, come in. Let me live in my town of original sin. I just made that up just now. I just made it up.
Improviser over here. Okay.
So come join my improv channel on Instagram called Jessica Vosk.
I would watch the shit out of that. Literally.
But I am very excited to play sleepover games with you. So if anybody wants to join us on the Patreon, please come over there. And also Fred's getting frisky, you guys.
Fred, I have a bunch of
and
Vosk themed games, and are we gonna have a good
shit.
time?
Okay, bring it.
I'm gonna end the stream now. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and
Thank you guys. I love you.
Carly Coons, thanks for saying this. She said it's literally the only CD in my car. Very sweet. Bye. And we are ending the stream.